Hi guys, welcome to this week's Warlord Wednesday. First, let's have a look at what's coming out from Warlord in the next week or so. First up is these nice French Napoleonic Marines. Also, if you like the look of Blood Red Skies, the pre-orders is about to close soon. So if you want to get it pre-ordered, you better get in there quick. I don't know when it closes, but I know it's closing soon. Then you'll just have to wait like the rest of us till it goes on general release. But if you want it as soon as it comes out, get in there and get it pre-ordered as soon as possible. Okay guys, so on to me French Napoleonics. Let's go to the table now and see how I'm getting on. Hi guys, so I've started painting me Napoleonic French, and I've got two guys here to show you because there's subtle differences. He's a line company and he's a grenadier. You can tell by the high plume and the epaulets on his coat. So anyway, as you've seen from the last episode, I sprayed them all with a nice coat of grey, which makes life easier because they wear grey coats. And then what I did then was, I'll start with this guy. I've done my old ceramite white on the trousers, and then I did skin tone on the face and hands. I then did black on the boots and on his hat. I then used this mahogany brown for the rifle. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to give them all a wash and leave them overnight, and then I'll carry on with the next stage. But with the grenadier, there's an extra step, well, not an extra step as such. I painted his shoulder pads. I keep calling them shoulder pads. I painted his epaulets and the plume on his hat with this flat red. And also, after some research, I found out that the grenadiers actually had blue trousers. So his trousers have been painted with this Andrea blue. Okay, so I'm going to give them all a wash now. Leave them overnight. Guys, so he's been left overnight and the wash is dried, and then I've added more detail. What I've done is I've done the straps with ceramite white. I say my painting skills are not that good. I'm quite sure there's plenty of you out there that can do a better job than me. I've used saddle brown to paint this little pouch here. I think it's a water bottle, I'm not 100% sure. Then I've used Balkan metal to do the barrel of the rifle. I've used mithril silver to do the bayonet. And I used some of this liquid gold on the sides of his face, on the straps off his hat or seiko. So as you can see, I've managed to get further round with not having the backpack on there. So what I'll do next time, I'm going to add the backpack and then I'll paint the backpacks on. But these take a lot less colour than the British. Definitely having the great coats on is an advantage. Oh, I've also done the buttons with mithril silver as well. Whether they're supposed to be silver or not, I don't know. But it won't matter anyway, because what happened was during the long campaign, after the battles, they've picked buttons up that they've lost off dead bodies and sewn them onto the coat. So it doesn't really matter what colour buttons they've got on, because that's what happened during the war anyway. Okie dokie. So that's painting the French for this week. And next week, hopefully I'll have some completed models to show you. Okay, I've covered the basic rules for Napoleonics, So there's not really anything more I can add about that. Really, to go further with the rules, you need to really get the rule book and do that yourself. So what I'm going to look at this week is campaigns, or basic campaigns. So let's have a look at that. Okay guys, this week I want to have a look at running a campaign. So this is part 1, background and planning. So first off, what is a campaign? Well, I've been playing war games for many years, and arranging games and playing games was really good when I first started, but I found after 4 or 5 years it wasn't doing it. I mean I was enjoying the games, don't get me wrong, but I found that, is this it? Is that the end of it? And then what I discovered then was campaigns. So what is a campaign? Well, as it says on there, campaigns are either follow or are driven, a narrative, and they can be ladder, tree, map campaigns, numerous different types. Basically what you do is, I'll give you an example. We'll use bolt action, and we'll use World War II, obviously, because that's what bolt action is set in. I've done a few campaigns. I've done a map campaign, I've done a ladder campaign, I've done linear campaigns, I've done a few different ones. And basically, you have to do your background, you have to do your homework first. So what you have to do, you have to go online and do a bit of research on where you want to do the conflict. So say you want to do, I don't know, example, say Normandy. So you choose whereabout you want to be. I think the map campaign I did was on Gold Beach, and so you get a map of the area, you divide it up, and then you set games to people play, and the allies win and gain hexes, or the Axis win and they gain hexes. And at the end of the campaign, however long you have it running for, the side that controls the most hexes wins the campaign. But that takes work. You have to look into it. So we take the first one, a ladder campaign, as a beginner, because that's fairly easy. Most people have played ladder campaigns without even knowing about it. Basically, it's a series of linked games. So let's have an using bolt action. So first thing you need to do, you need to decide who is going to be an attacker and who's going to be a defender. It doesn't really matter, but your background story needs to follow what they're doing. So let's do a quick background story. So I've got a background story here. So here we go. So there's a little bit. So enemy forces have been holding out in this area for several weeks. We have intelligence report that the enemy commander is in the area. So, great. Let's go and kill the enemy commander. Sounds about right. So let's choose a scenario. So in this case, we'll choose the demolition scenario from the bolt action rulebook, with a slight change to fit the narrative. So what we'll do is, in this scenario, we're going to have the allies that are going to be the attackers, and the Axis are going to be defending. So in this scenario in the book, both sides have a HQ for the opposing team to capture, destroy. But on this one, because the allies are attacking, and to fit the narrative of our campaign, there's only going to be the Germans, the Axis side, that has the HQ. So you set the game up, you play the game, and what happens when you finish the game? You go to the next part of the narrative. So here we go. So now it's, your forces have been beaten in the battle. You must try to get out of the area as quickly as possible. Now, as the first game is fixed, as in you know who the attacker is and who the defender is. In the second game, you don't know who the attacker and who the defender is going to be, because that's going to depend on the outcome of the first game. So you have to sort of generalize your narrative a bit. So your forces have been beaten. Yeah, they have been beaten. Whoever the attacker and whoever the defender was in the first round doesn't matter. One of them will have been beaten and be the loser for the second game. So now we go on to the second scenario. So the second scenario is, so here we have, second scenario is manhunt, and the winner of the previous game is the attacker in this scenario. So you can see that it follows, you play your first game, and whoever's the attacker and whoever's the winner of the first game becomes the attacker in the second game, because it sort of puts the losing side on the back foot. So you play manhunt as per the rule book, and then once you play that mission, you then go on to the third one. So then you go to another bit of narrative. So you inflicted heavy casualties on the enemy forces, time to finish the job. So again, it's moving it on, but it's not saying who, it's just saying you have inflicted heavy casualties. It's generalized. And then on this one, this is the last scenario. It's only a 3 scenario ladder. So the winner of the previous game is the attacker in this scenario. So again, whoever won the last one is the attacker in this one. And then on this one, we will choose surrounded as the scenarios we played. So again, you play the mission as the rule book, and the winner of this scenario will be the winner of the campaign. So basically what happens is, so that is a basic ladder campaign. 3 scenarios, you can have more scenarios if you want, but basic 3 scenario campaign. So it starts off, you get intelligence that the enemy HQ is in the area. You're sent in to neutralise it. You might win or you might lose. So let's just recap on the scenario. Let's just recap on the scenarios. So game 1, demolition. As an allied player, you're sent in with your forces to try and take out the enemy HQ. That's your mission. You might do it, you might not. If you do it, great, you put them on the back foot. But if you don't do it, you're ended up on the back foot, and then roles are reversed. The enemy are then chasing you, trying to hunt you down. So you play the manhunt scenario. And then what happens after the manhunt scenario, you then play the surrounded mission. Now this is basically whoever wins the manhunt scenario is surrounded what's left of the attacking force that's left to wipe them out. And that's it. That's a basic ladder campaign. Really easy to do. Anyone can have a go, and it works with any game. Bolt Action, Black Powder, Hail Caesar, Conflict 47, any of them. Choose 3 scenarios in the book, do a little narrative to join them and link the scenarios together, and have a go playing a campaign. You'll really enjoy it, and I'll be very surprised if you want to play single games anymore. I mean, you will play them, you'll play single games, but you'll prefer to play a scenario, a campaign. It's just really good fun. Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you want to have a go at trying that campaign that I've just showed you, please do. Give us some feedback, let me think how it went. Cheers, until next week, stay safe.